Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now, you are all aware that President Buhari has been declared as the winner of the recently concluded presidential elections, and it looks as though we're going to have to suffer him for another 4 years, unless of course we are able to get a court judgment, which is highly unlikely. So if we are going to suffer Malam Buhari for another 4 years, then here are 5 mistakes that he must not repeat for his second term. So mistake number 1, he must not take forever to assemble a cabinet. Now we all recall that it took President Buhari a good 6 months or more to assemble a cabinet in 2015, and then after having assembled the cabinet, we ended up with names like Rotimi Amechi and Kayode Fayemi and all of these kind of nondescript people who were mainly party loyalists just being rewarded with positions. So this time around, he must not take 6 months. He must not even take more than a month or 6 weeks to assemble a cabinet. So that's the first mistake. The second thing that he must do is to introduce fresh blood and new ideas. So Nigeria is crying out for fresh blood and new ideas. We've already listed some names as members of his cabinet, Rotimi Amechi, etc. Now, with all the best will in the world, there is no new idea that is ever going to come out of somebody like Rotimi Amechi. Rotimi Amechi is a political thug and a corrupt politician who is only good for one thing and one thing only. Is good for the election processes and is good for that money politics type of thing. But in terms of governance, you go to Rivers State and they will tell you tales of woe. So we need fresh blood and people with bright ideas. So number 3, unite, not divide the country. So all this rankadede stuff that we've had to suffer for the past 4 years, if your name is not Danladi, then you have no place in any position of note, and all of the security apparatus are all in the hands of his kinsmen and clansmen. All of that has to go, and it's not really so much a problem with having a northerner in charge of something, but really it's the quality of the person that is in charge of that thing. Because really, if you look at the Nigerian state today, it's a failure of administration, and if you look at that failure of administration, it is a failure of the people that have been put in position. So we have an ambassador to the United States of America, the most important country in the world, who is an 82-year-old man. An 82-year-old man, what is his qualification? His qualification really is that he's a Hausa Fulani chap. You know, he might well have other credentials or other things that qualify him, but really what you want is a sharp, current, bright mind that is able to report back what advantages Nigeria can get from America. And an 82-year-old man with all the best will in the world is not that person. So really, we want competence over tribe more than anything else. So that's the third thing that he must put to effect for his second term. Now, the fourth one is something that really is very important, and I hope most of you will agree with, is to banish the cabal from Aso Rock. So the president has to banish this cabal from Aso Rock. He's too reliant on these people, and these people really, they don't have anybody's interest apart from themselves at heart. And we have had that example severally, and we have seen that example with the likes of Babache, Lawal, etc., and the chap in charge of customs. So all of these cabals, they are self-serving, and they must have made enough money in these 4 years for them to have had enough to satiate whatever greed they have. Although they say it's never enough for the greedy, but sometimes you have to say enough is enough. So the cabal has to be banished from Aso Rock. And number 5, speak to the people more. The Nigerian president has to have a conversation with the Nigerian people so that the Nigerian people understand what the thrust of his mindset is and his policy position, so that you're then able to predict the direction of travel of the president, and then you are able to act in accordance with that direction of travel. So the president has to communicate with the people. This is the convention internationally. Periodically, every leader addresses the nation in one form or the other. and then he starts a conversation around the style of governance and the direction of travel that he's taken the country, and then the country engages him in that conversation. But in the last 4 years, I think the only time that we really saw Buhari was during the election campaign. And a lot of that was down to health reasons, yes, but a lot of it also is down to this arrogance and this ruler mentality that he has. So this now does not hold sway anymore going forward. So this is something that really needs to be acted upon. He has to establish a relationship with the Nigerian people, and a relationship is only established through communication. So we don't want to hear the president's spokesman or the presidency. We want to hear from the president, because we did not elect the presidency or the president's spokesman. We elected the president. Yes, Buhari is not the most articulate of people, but he has enough of a grasp of the environment that he's in to be able to express an opinion in a way that the country should be able to engage with. So those are the 5 things that must change in this upcoming administration. First, he has to establish a cabinet quickly. 2, he has to introduce fresh blood and new ideas. 3, he has to unite, not divide. 4, he has to get rid of the cabal. And 5, he has to communicate more with the Nigerian people. So those are my 5 top list of what must happen in the upcoming administration. What are yours? So let's discuss Buhari and the upcoming administration in the comment section. But before we go have that conversation, click on that subscribe button so it goes from red to gray. And then, haven't done that, come join me in the comment section where this conversation carries on. So I'll leave you here, meet you in the comment section, and I'll say peace.